Hi Leo, welcome to your April reading. Let's see what's going on for you. I'm going to pull some baseline cards. All right, so far we have the Eight of Swords, which tells me you're up in your head a lot about something. Um, it's something that has you thinking and thinking and thinking. It's about a big decision that has to be made, because that's what the Two of Swords is here now. And that's, yeah, well, okay, we have a lot of sword energy here, which tells me communication, communication, communication. There is a lot that needs to be said, is being said, is going to be said. Ace of Swords, that is the sword of truth. And it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it's not what you want to hear, but you need to hear it. Sometimes it's not what you want to say, but it has to be said. But you have to be careful, because you have that one and that two here. The Two of Swords is that crossroads of not knowing which way to go. And it means, when it's mixed with this, where it's in your head, if you let the eight and the two become a 10 of Swords, it becomes rock bottom. You let that decision eat at you, eat at you, eat at you, and you don't actually make a choice. It becomes so overwhelming. And then if you pair the eight and the one, it becomes a 9 of Swords, where it's just in your head, in your head, in your head, just on repeat. It's affecting everything, because you can't think straight, you can't sleep right. So we have to make sure not to let this Eight of Swords, where we're in our head, dwell so much that it starts to add up and it becomes a very heavy burden. Because what you also have on the table, which when you see a major arcana card like the sun, the world, things like that, everything is going to be okay. So what that tells me is the things you're fearing are more in your head than in reality, because it's about not living in your truth, which is a mental thing. It's, yes, sometimes are there physical obstacles that we have to get through in order to get something accomplished? Yeah, obviously. But when it's in your head and you're the one stopping it because you're making excuses, it's because here, if you drop one of the swords, you can take the blindfold off and see what needs to be done. But you're refusing to take the blindfold off, but you've got two swords in your hand. I mean, nobody walks around with two swords and a blindfold. That's just not good. It's that moon is there for a reason. You're living under an illusion. So you have to be careful about that. So let's see. We're going to pull on this Eight of Swords first. What are you in your head about? And speaking of the moon, it's a full moon, so that means it's time to purge. The full moon is when things are too full and your plate's too full and everything's too full. It's time to release it so that you can make room for what's right and what aligns with you to come in. So use the energy of the full moon right now to figure out what needs to be done from here. Yep, see, you're in what came before the Eight of Swords is the Seven of Swords. So something that hurt you, there was some sort of lying, cheating, deception, something that got you really in your head and thinking a lot about a situation. You already were dealing with had a lot on your plate, almost felt like there was too much to juggle, too much going on. And I feel like it ended up putting you in this state. The hermit state is where you kind of go within, you become a little bit introspective, you realize that you end up on a spiritual awakening for a reason. It's the universe kind of throws things in your face that you have to learn and grow and, become different from. It's forcing a new life path. So right now I feel like a lot of you have been in your head about somebody who ended up kind of being a player. The King of Wands is passionate, fun, exciting. He's the life of the party, and, but he's the life of the party and everybody wants him, and he knows it and doesn't, like to settle down, or he likes that attention, and, that's how he gets to where he is. It's he's the popular one, the one everybody in the room wants to be and the one everybody wants. But the Fool is here. So that tells me you're either ready, you felt like a fool because of what happened, or you're ready to, after this hermit phase, when you realize that you don't have to stay stuck in your head about this, about whatever was deceptive, or that you could choose a whole new path. I mean, that's what's here at the crossroads, That's what you are juggling. The decision of, do I go off on a new path, or do I stay in my head stuck about it? Stuck about this person who didn't do the right things, And now it's time to go within and soul search a little bit and figure out exactly what needs to be done. Let's talk about this crossroads. Why is the Two of Swords here? The Devil, because you are stuck. The other path is a toxic one, a toxic cycle, a cycle of, it could be abuse, could be something not as heavy as abuse, but just more like a bad situation that you just kind of keep living in and living in. And but there is something toxic that you feel is holding you stuck in this place, an energy that won't let you, just won't release. And there's a dwelling that's happening on focusing on what you've lost in the situation with whatever this is, or what you will lose, I should say, if you make this choice. So I think that's your fear here, is that you're almost so used to being stuck in this cycle that even though it's not a healthy one, it's the one that you know, so it becomes your comfort zone, unfortunately. And it's the energy that you're in right now, because the focus, like I said, when you're wrapped up in your head, is about what I might lose, and what's left for me. But you keep focusing on losing what you think was a celebration, which the Three of Cups in the deck on its own is celebration, right? Excitement, partying. And you forget that there's two full cups. And the two full cups in the deck, the Two of Cups on its own, is a deep soulmate connection, a connection of something or someone that you are bound to, that fits and aligns right in your life. So if you keep harping and dwelling on what it is that you think you might lose, because you're living in this toxic cycle of not wanting to lose that comfort, like I said, even though it's not healthy, it's just what you know. And sometimes the fear of the unknown is greater than just dealing with the beast that you already know, you know? Ace of Swords, clarified by the Ace of Cups. It's time to speak your truth in love, in matters of love, in whatever it is that you want. You cannot keep holding your emotions back. The Ace of Cups is always depicted... Excuse me. See, that's how true. Ace of Cups is always depicted as overflowing, because, you know, water that doesn't overflow becomes very, very toxic. You can't hold in emotions. It becomes poison to yourself. It has to overflow, the emotions. That's why we cry. It's why we have to be able to release, or it builds up and it becomes, you know, stress kills. And you have to be able to live in your truth and speak your truth about what it is that you love, what it is that drives you, what it is that moves you forward. Because as soon as you do that, that's gonna, you have to hold on real tight right now to something that it is that you are, an ultimate goal is what it is. I feel like some of you maybe put yourself aside for a while you were so focused here and focused on this energy and focused on what you might be losing, that you started to feel like you might be losing a little bit of yourself. And it's time to take that back. He's holding the Ace of Pentacles, which is kind of funny that it fell on top of these other two aces that came out. You need to hold on to what it is that grounds you, what it is that makes you feel good, what it is that brings you to a different place of feeling peaceful. Because that's ultimately what the Sun is about. And look what ended up at the bottom of that deck is the Lovers. A major arcana card of, like what I was saying before, something or someone that aligns very deeply with your soul. An instant connection, an instant recognition that this is a counterpart of yours. And you have to be able to get out of this headspace of worrying about what it is that you might leave behind if you go toward this other path, because you have new beginnings here. Ace of Cups and Ace of Swords, which tells me universe wants you to head into this new direction. Tell me about the Sun, because ultimately it leads to the Sun, which is a card like that is always going to trump any other card that comes out, including something like this, like the Three of Swords. You might have to break your heart a little bit in the process to deal with it, but it's going to break your heart a lot harder if you keep letting it go and you don't listen to the signs the universe is giving you. It will then become a burden. Ten of Wands is a very heavy burden that you don't want to deal with. So you have, and Ten of Swords, it's feeling stabbed in the back. It's feeling, remember I told you before, you want to be careful of that 8 and the 2, that decision that you don't want to make. If it becomes too heavy, it becomes the Ten of Swords. What you need to do is go beyond that and go into the Knight of Swords energy and take that sword of truth that the Knight of Swords is running with and go run off and live in your truth. It's really okay. Forget about what the people around you are saying or who doesn't agree with your life choices or any of that kind of stupidity and nonsense right now. Because if you stay stuck in a stagnant place like that, you're going to end up with a broken heart, but in a different way, where you're going to feel like you've hit rock bottom because you're not living in the truth you need to live in. That's why the sun is here, because it's telling you that the only way to the happiness is, and the Four of Wands, that's the 1111 card. It's the card of soulmates and soul bonds and somebody who wants the same things that you do, somebody who's, again, aligned with you. This is a card of being aligned. Everything needs the sun to grow and to be nourished and to be healthy and happy and vibrant. And this is the energy that the universe would like to see you in. That's why it's in the middle of all of this, because that energy is meant to trump all of the rest of it. And I said that even before these other cards came out with it, the Ten of Swords. And I explained to you before that 8 and 2 will turn into that if you keep letting this decision get a hold of you and not realizing that you have to stop living in this cycle, this repeated cycle of whatever it is that you feel bound and stuck to, whether it's your own self-destructive behavior, whether it's somebody else in your life that you think you're going to fix or change, or the cycle is going to change. No, it's not. It's just going to stay on repeat and get worse. And we've all done it. I've done it too. You have to be stronger than that. It's going to hurt. It's going to suck. It's going to... Okay, and we move on and we get through it like everything else, and you deal with it, and it's, that's how you get to this. You have to live in your truth and your happiness, and that's what's going to bring you the peace. But you have to make this choice. Stop, get out of your own way, get out of your own head about it. The universe is putting you into this introspective state right now to think about it differently. These are major arcana cards. The universe wants you to remember to think of this as your end goal and stop dwelling on what you may have lost because you didn't lose anything. I hope this was helpful. Have a happy April. Enjoy the full moon. Purge and release everything you don't need. And I will see you next month.